one of the things I hear you saying, and I think everybody probably hears it loud and clear, is sort of stick with the basics, know your base, don't give up on what has been successful in the past. But let's make it a little harder. I think there are probably lots of people in the room and who are doing that, right? But it's not working, or it's not working fast enough. And let's just assume in this hypothetical that this is an organization that's providing an important service. Everybody believes that they should stick around. You know, dissolution shouldn't be an option, at least yet. So then you get into the discussion about, well, you need to diversify, you need to try some new things, maybe. And I'm just curious if you all could respond a little bit about, I mean, what if you're feeling the inclination to branch out and diversify and try some new things while you're working hard on the old things, but it's just not working fast enough to keep you in business? Well, what do you do?
This is the marketing guy.
You know, to your point, Josh, about being disillusioned, I don't think we can. We have burned the boat behind us. Anybody that's involved in community service, I think that's the sentiment, because without us, there is no safety net. Our citizens, our residents, our community depend on us, and so we have to forge forward. And in light of that, I think there's a lot of buzz around, and I want to do a poll in this room of people, organizations looking for the earned income opportunity. Okay, we're doing everything that all the basics that needs to be done in terms of talking to our current donors, reaching new donors, doing appeals. We're doing all of that up the yin-yang. Are there other revenue streams that we can look at? And of late, we have been actually getting a number of calls. And I remember the last session here, Kelvin from the Community Foundation cautioned about going into earned income opportunities because the similarity to starting a new business is right on there. I mean, you need to have enough capital to funding capital as well as intellectual capital, because it is starting like a new business and the risk could be very high. And most nonprofit organizations are not in the business of taking risks. Well, the marketplace has changed, so some are actually exploring that. And you know, if done right, it's not necessarily a bad thing. And I just kind of want to dispense with all of the disclaimers first. And it's that before you get into that, you need to have all of the foundation established. If it is going to be something quite different from what your mission is, you know, get board members, get new board members that have some background in that. They can provide you the advice so that you can explore it, do the feasibility study to see if it's actually in alignment. And in talking about alignment, I think a large part of that is really this, the new venture, is that consistent with the culture of the organization. If there's going to be a clash, you know, the funding may not be worth it. It doesn't have to be directly related. I think in some of the discussion, we felt that some organizations shy away from that because there's a lack of understanding. You know, are nonprofits allowed to have that? Actually, you are. But how much of the income really depends on your organization. I think most consultants will look at no more than 20%. Some people have said as much as 50%, but I think the comfort level is in 20% before the IRS will start raising an eyebrow and going, actually, you're behaving like a regular for-profit organization. But you know, you have to do your due diligence in exploring those opportunities. In the paper that was this Sunday, you know, Goodwill was quoted in terms of some of the operations. And some of the organizations here have different operations. Some take advantage of the High Five recycling program, you know, kidney cars as a program. So those are established, those are working. So for organizations looking at that, is that a viable option for you? You know, Patti,
Beth. Go ahead.
Go take it. Go take it.
Beth had good comments.
Well, actually, I think that you know, I think that this is now the time to be your most creative self. And one of the stories that I tell is of an organization that actually was on the mainland, I think somewhere in the Midwest, and they had a football field. And so what they did was they sectioned off the football field in a lot of grids, and they asked people to buy a grid. So a grid was anywhere from a big grid was $500, a small grid might be $100. They had all these grids. And then you got to put your name on each grid, and then they had everybody cheering in the football stand, and they let a cow loose. And wherever the cow did its business, you won, and whoever won got, you know, a trip to Las Vegas or whatever. But it was kind of a fun thing that everybody, you know, got to do. So I do think it's time to sort of be creative. People love stuff like that. You know, they love to go to like a fun event. You know, you sell T-shirts with the name of the cow on it, and you know, you get to do all those fun things. It generates publicity for your organization, and it's kind of a fun something for you to do. I think that social networking right now is really a big thing. I think people are just now trying to figure out how you use Facebook and Twitter and all of those things to be able to raise money. I still think that when you're using Facebook, I love it when somebody invites me to an event, but I also like it when somebody calls me and says, Beth, I sent you an invitation through you know, Facebook to this, you know, event, hoping that you'll join us because a bunch of us are getting together to, you know, to go to this. So I think social networking with sort of that personalization is, you know, something that, you know, something that's going to, you know, be helpful when you're doing, you know, different kinds of events.
I guess the final, not the final, but another comment might be that, you know, take a look at what for-profit organizations are doing, companies, retailers, how are they trying to build business or traffic? And of course, we don't always have products we can sell, but how are they attracting people into their stores, to become interested in them, whether it's a coupon, again, I'm not sure how the application would work with many nonprofits, but whether it's a coupon, a 2-for-1, or something that just raises a level of interest and also a level of engagement, because that's of course what we want.